JBN, we keep you informed. St. Thomas Police probing discovery of body in shallow grave. The St. Thomas Police are working to exhume the body of a man that was found buried in a shallow grave near the Yalos Pond. The discovery was made on Wednesday afternoon and an alarm raised. The police were subsequently notified about the grave. The discovery came as relatives were searching for a family member who has been missing for 2 weeks. The police say the body is yet to be identified, adding that the matter is under investigation. The police say the body was clad in a red t-shirt, a blue, white, and black sweatpants, and is about 5 feet 8 inches long. A post-mortem is to be conducted to determine the cause of death. Cops find shotgun in pigsty and revolver in dog house. Detectives assigned to the Spanish Town Police Station seized a shotgun and a revolver during operations in the Quarry Heights area of Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Wednesday. According to the lawmen, the shotgun and one 12-gauge cartridge was found in a white crocus bag inside a pigsty during the midday search. The officers said a further search led to the discovery of the second firearm in a doghouse beside the pigsty, while 3 9mm cartridges and a damaged extended Glock magazine were found in a black plastic bag in the yard. No one has been arrested in connection with the find, but investigations continue. Man charged following St. James robbery. One of 2 men who robbed employees of a business establishment along Market Street in St. James at gunpoint last month has been arrested and charged. The police are reporting that 21-year-old Ashton Danville of Norwood St. James has been charged with illegal possession of firearm, malicious destruction of property, robbery with aggravation, assault at common law, and assault occasioning bodily harm. The police report that the incident happened about 6:45 p.m. on September 7. During the robbery, the men reportedly assaulted the proprietor and robbed the business of several items, including cash. Following weeks of investigations, the police made a breakthrough and arrested Danville. 2 Westmoreland cops charged for allegedly soliciting $20,000 from motorists. 2 police constables assigned to the Westmoreland Division have been offered bail after they were charged with breaches of the Corruption Prevention Act. The Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, said the constables, Denny Watson and Brendan Soko, are accused of soliciting $20,000 from a motorist in order for him to avoid prosecution. It is said that during a traffic stop on September 21, the motorist was asked to produce documentation for the vehicle he was driving, but it was discovered that his name was not on the certificate of insurance. The complainant alleges that the police solicited the money after the discovery and he paid over the sum out of fear of being charged. However, he later reported the matter at the Mocha West office. Both constables Watson and Suku were arrested on September 30 and placed in an identification parade where they were positively identified. They appeared in the St. James Parish Court on October 4, where they were granted bail with conditions. Police identified double murder victims in Brownstown. The police have identified the 2 men who were killed by unknown assailants in the Minyard Heights area of Brownstown, St. Anne on Monday. The deceased have been identified as 26-year-old Carl Johnson and 20-year-old Nickane Cunningham, both of Red Dirt Corner in Alexandra in the parish. One of the men was released from police custody only a day before his demise is understood. Reports are that sometime after 8 p.m., residents in the area heard explosions and called the police. On their arrival, the police found the 2 men on a roadway with gunshot wounds to the head. They were taken to the hospital where they were both pronounced dead. Investigators have theorized that the men were brought to the area and killed, but no motive has yet been established for the double killing. JUTC driver charged for killing taxi operator granted bail. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC bus driver, who was charged with the murder of a taxi operator last month, has been granted bail. The accused, 37-year-old Oral Clark, appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Wednesday and was offered bail at $600,000. The case against him will next be mentioned on November 22. Clark was charged with murder on October 6 after spending some time in police custody. The taxi driver, 37-year-old Akina Britton, otherwise called Bubinile, of Ambrook Lane in St. Andrew, succumbed to stab wounds he suffered during an altercation, allegedly with Clark on Monday, September 23. The police reported that about 6:45 p.m., Britton was driving a Toyota Isis motorcar along the Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew when he allegedly got into an altercation with the driver of the JUTC bus. The situation reportedly escalated, and according to the police, a knife was brought into play and Britton was stabbed several times. He was assisted to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Clark subsequently turned himself into the law after being requested to do so by the police. Holness and Phillips meet for a crime summit. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips are now locked in a long-awaited national summit on crime at the Jamaica Conference Centre in downtown Kingston. Holness and Phillips are accompanied by government ministers and opposition spokesmen, as well as the top brass of the security forces. Members of civil society groups, private sector interests, trade union representatives, and other stakeholders are also participating in the summit. Ahead of the meeting, Holness said that the summit was part of the social partnership involving the state, civil society, the private sector, and the trade unions. I am confident that a consensus that we seek will be reinforced, Holness said. The government and opposition had set January 16, 2019 for the crime talks, but according to Phillips, the government unilaterally cancelled the meeting. 10 months after we're having the meeting, Phillips said, adding that he hoped it would lead to some consensus on a national strategy that can secure the commitment of all the critical stakeholders. On July 30th, the opposition staged a crime and violence prevention summit at the Jamaica Conference Centre. It was attended by various stakeholders, including the private sector. However, the Prime Minister did not attend. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang had said that the government would consider recommendations coming out of the July summit. Holness says new St. Catherine model scheme will be strictly regulated. A St. Catherine housing scheme that was shelved after the private sector partner jumped ship is being resurrected and rebranded as a template for future housing developments in Jamaica. Housing Agency of Jamaica (HAJ) Chairman Norman Brown said on Wednesday at the joint venture agreement signing ceremony at Jamaica House that in 2011, Dr. Horace Chang, who held the housing portfolio, made several parcels of land at Bernard Lodge available to the HAJ for construction of houses. By 2013, when plans for the project were far advanced and the necessary environmental permits in place, and well over 700 prospective buyers had made deposits, the private developer backed out. Now the government is breathing new life into the plans as Catherine Estates Development and the HAJ is partnering with China Harbour Engineering Company Limited on the $9.5 billion project to construct 1,650 starter housing units, comprising studios and one-bedroom apartments. The projected selling prices for the units are $5.5 million for a studio and $6.6 million for a one-bedroom dwelling. However, Brown explained that the initial 47 depositors would pay the original 2013 price of $4.2 million and $5 million respectively. Construction is set to begin next month on what will be the largest housing construction in St. Catherine since the Greater Portmore development. It is slated to be completed in 4.5 years. The Chinese ambassador used the opportunity to remind the government of the importance of building something more lasting than brick and mortar. In China, we always say that water can carry boat, but it can also capsize it. To the government, the party in power, people are the water. The government, the party, is the boat. When the residents have their own houses, when the farmers have their own farming land, this is very important and basic conditions to the stability and harmony of the society, he said. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the housing development would set a new standard for future government projects. The 2019 draft housing policy, which was tabled in Parliament, envisions a country where sufficient, affordable, and appropriate housing choices are available to foster socially diverse and inclusive communities. We need to build enough housing solutions that are affordable and sustainable, and we need to build them at a rate to prevent the issue of the informal settling and the informal creation of shelter solutions, the Prime Minister said. Holness said that the facilities such as shops and other social amenities will be built into the communities in a structured way, instead of being allowed to develop in a haphazard manner, ultimately leading to property devaluation. These are communities that will be strictly regulated with covenants to make sure that the communities don't descend into chaos, he said. So yes, you'll buy your property, but you won't be able to park your big truck and open up a garage. And in some cases, we have seen come to us people having funeral parlors in residential areas. That will not happen in this community. I think Jamaicans have to come to this understanding that no matter what your status is in life or your economic profile, there are standards which must be maintained. Poverty does not mean chaos and disorder, and the government has to take a stand as we build out more communities, because what we are finding is that when you allow the community to deteriorate, then it becomes a safe harbor for criminal and social deviants. So we are putting in place all the components for a safe, sustainable, and affordable community, Holness had it. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.